There a lot of people are talking about this, Eliza Bleu, Brittany Venti quartering censorship issue. I think it's more of a censorship concern than it is like a person is lying about their past, but it's hard to separate one from the other. And I've just been observing, I feel like a lot of people are starting to come after the shows that they think should be acknowledging or talking about this. And I don't know, I think that's it's kind of a waste of time because like if a show or a person doesn't want to talk about it, they don't you can't make them. And
Hmm.
I think when you get followers of a show, they feel kind of like they're part of a community, or you want your voice to matter. You want to feel like you have some say. And I have been noticing like people have been giving Tim a lot of shit for not that he hasn't talked about this yet, or maybe he is working on something, but I don't know.
Yeah, it
I
said
just
this morning that the quartering was supposed to go on a show, but he flaked. I guess Jeremy said he flaked, um, and but that they scheduled it like a month back, so they weren't planning to talk about the Eliza stuff because it hadn't happened yet. But he
right.
was supposed to be on the show and then wasn't. So Tim was like, "Well, I would have talked about it with Jeremy, But I think you have to stay on brand with what your followers are into, and we talk about geopolitics or we talk about like Scooby Doo. I mean, fun stuff, video games. There's not a lot of drama that we talk about on Timcast. We don't really go into the drama sect of it, as the followers aren't really that much into it, I guess, as much as they're into, Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering. So,
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up the website. Yeah, I mean, you also it's just I've never known the show to get into right, interpersonal YouTuber drama, which this
mhm.
certainly does also fall under. So it's gotta be tricky. But then
Yeah.
some people are like, "Oh, well, you guys covered the Steven Crowder Daily Wire." But again, that deals more with, I guess, a network.
Yeah, that comes down to a network and business dealings and big tech censorship again.
Yeah, so it's kind of like I can understand, like, talking about the censorship part of it, but you can't
Mhm.
not also talk about the interpersonal Eliza and her story part. And I think
Yeah.
I think, folks just wanna stay away from especially, like, a guy saying, like, "Oh, this is a woman who straight up lied about being a sexual assault survivor." I think nobody really wants to be, like, on
Yeah.
record stating that when it's such a murky thing to even prove. I mean, it's murky. Her story has been murky since day 1, so it's
Yeah. She was never, I mean, at first it was protecting her own privacy. So nobody really questioned it beyond that. It's like, well, I was a sex trafficking survivor, and I'm not going to give you my my captors' names because they could hurt me. So it's like, okay, nobody really. It was like the perfect story, like because nobody
it
could really
was.
dig into it. Um, and it's just the people who are hurt by this is like, I mean, I'm hurt. I considered her one of my friends, and I feel lied to.
No.
I can't see how she's telling the truth at this point. And I'd like her to come out and say whatever she needs to say to clear her name. I'd love that. Um, but the people who are getting hurt is the survivors of sexual assault who trusted her, and you know who the sex trafficking victims who, like, she was a voice for them while all this was going on. She continued to be a great voice for them, but this is a distraction now to them. Is her own personal thing. It's just sad.
A lot of people have been saying, yeah, if Eliza really helped all these people, like, you don't see any of them coming out and saying, "Oh, like, let's stop bashing on Eliza, she actually really helped me," but that's what's tricky too, because if she really did help real survivors who are feeling kind of broken and don't wanna be a public person, I could understand, like, if these survivors really exist that she really helped, I could see them not wanting to, like, come forward and be made a public figure just to
Yeah.
defend Eliza. But it's almost like it works kind of perfectly. It's like the people that I've helped supposedly are also the type of people who may not come forward and, like, out themselves as, you know, assault or sex trafficking survivors. So it's like a perfect thing to take advantage of. People just have
Yeah.
to like trust that you mean what you
Mhm.
say.
Yeah, because who would lie about something like that?
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. It's just something that goes beyond empathy.
And most people don't know very many or any sex trafficking survivors. Like, this wasn't even something we talked about
Mhm.
before the pandemic. So,
Yep.
like, I just can't remember anybody bringing it up as an issue. Like, you always heard about migrants and illegal immigration and
Yeah, the
drugs coming
coyotes
through
all
the
happening across the
yeah,
border. Yeah, we heard about that all the time, but no, in America, just started hearing about it around the time of the pandemic.
yeah. It's so I wanna hear from her too. Like, if it were me, I would be like, "Oh my god, the internet is
I
mad
need
at
to clear my
me.
name.
There's a lot of
Mhm.
misconceptions." Like, don't you wanna be understood? Like, don't you want people to be on your side? Like, give us a reason to be on your side. And you said,
Yeah.
like, you were friendly with her. Was it just through, like, just chatting on the internet, or, like, had you ever had her on a show or anything?
No, just chatting on the internet. I mean, she went on
Yeah.
TimCast. She went on like a lot of my friends' podcasts. She went on Liberty Lockdown. She went on different podcasts. I associated with
Oh.
her. We were within similar circles. Um, so it's just it feels like a lot of people were misled, and duped by her, but she's not. She's just doubling down and doubling down and doubling down, and it's like, well, there's an easy way to clear your name. You clear up your timeline, and you know dox your attackers, and there you go, and it's cleared everything up, and you get the last word in, like
And actually,
it's
it does good to name your traffickers because then people can stay
why
away
would you
from them,
protect them? Exactly, they could hurt other people.
especially if they are a high profile. At one point, she said high profile athlete, then she said high profile photographer. It's like, wouldn't you want other girls, models, etc., to stay away from working with this specific photographer?
Yeah,
That's a part that I
yeah,
don't get.
exactly. It seems like that be part of your mission and your platform to help young girls is to say, okay, well, don't go near this photographer, he's bad. This athlete,
Yeah.
he's bad.
Oh my god, Tim got duped and they're not gonna address it. Well, I think it's just what Josie was saying is like, I really do understand how, the kind of the vibe of the show, it's like, I don't think he wants to get too much into
Drama.
the drama, and it's like, this story is tricky because you can't really address the censorship piece without addressing the drama and the lying and the grifting, and
Hmm.
it's a tough spot to be in. Kevin Brady, we keep saying she's giving them a voice. How? Right, like, is anyone gonna come forward and be like, "Okay, I didn't want to do this," or they could create, like, a fake account, right? Couldn't they say,
Hmm.
"I see everyone shitting on Eliza, she helped me through this problem, like, the"
Eliza could create a fake account and do it. I mean, she has.
Why hasn't she done that? That seems like some shit you do.
Yeah, it seems right up there, but I think there's probably some personality disorders in there, and this is making sense in her head how it's playing out, and she's getting attention, and negative attention is attention. So there's no real
Right.
need to clear her name.
God, wouldn't that be something if it really just came down to attention? Didn't matter if it was negative, didn't matter if, like, the whole internet is mad at you and you're just like,
Mhm.
"Woohoo, I'm trending."
Yeah. What she did do at the beginning, and we have to give her credit for it, is she did help Elon or direct him or whatever to get the sex trafficking off of Twitter that was happening, and he doubled down and got all that crap off. Um, and that was,
Right, and I
in
know that
part to her.
I know that that is something that people say, but it does make you question, like, okay, was there ever any proof that she actually did that? It
There
it
was
ha
a conversations they had publicly, Elon and her. They would talk back and forth publicly. He went into one of her spaces and talked about it. Um, she was definitely working to get into his circle. It felt like,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's something that was important to him was getting the sex trafficking off of Twitter, and it was the first thing he did. And whether how much she guided him or encouraged him, or I'm not sure, but that was how she got kind of into his good graces was off the backs of sex trafficking, but it did get off of Twitter, which is good.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just like Elon is a smart guy. I don't know that he. Why would he
He
have
gives the
needed?
benefit of the doubt to people because he felt like he trusted her like everybody else did, and she came out and said, "Hi, I'm this high
True.
profile, whatever. This is a big problem here." And he's like, "Okay, I'm listening." And that's what it came down to.
Yeah. I mean, it's if it is fixed, it doesn't matter who fixed it ultimately.
Exactly.
Um,
And ultimately, he fixed it. She didn't get on Twitter and start getting her hands dirty and writing code and investigating or anything like that. She
that's
just
true.
said, "Hey, this is happening," and he said, "Oh, let's talk about it." And went to his face, talked about it, and got rid of it. So
Maybe her next name change, she'll learn to write code and she'll change her name and she'll be
Eliza Code,
yeah, Eliza Code.
Eliza
Instead of
Code.
Eliza Cuts, Eliza Codes. Be like, BRB, I'm
Hmm.
just gonna be a tech nerd. I don't know. It's tricky. I wonder if people the internet does love drama. The internet
Hmm.
does love when YouTubers fight.
Yep.
Is this ultimately gonna affect that's I think a big concern is people go, "Wow, if Eliza has a lot of pull at Twitter. She doesn't even work for Twitter, but if she is in tight with the trust and safety lady, well, then it's like this platform is now vulnerable to whoever who is just charismatic and can like get in there and
I
kind
think
of dictate."
she fooled a lot of people. And I mean, what they saw was, hey, we're gonna protect the sex trafficking victims, from early on when Elon first took over. And then they saw her, a sex trafficking victim, quote unquote, being exploited. So they followed their own rule and were like, okay, we're gonna protect you. That's what.
Right.
But then again, like I said at the beginning of the show, it could just be Twitter's old rules enforced. But the fact that the trusted safety lady was posting at the same time as Eliza about some drama, I don't know. There's too
That's the
many variables.
that's the kind of manipulative part of it. It's not enough to just be someone who works for a cause. It's the fact that when you decide to put yourself out there as an abuse victim survivor, well, now it's like you've got this extra bumper of nobody can touch you. It's like if you're
Mhm.
trans, it's like, "No, I'm trans. You can't question anything I do or say." And I kind of I'm allowed to be like let off the hook for things because I'm part of this victim group. It's same thing. If you
Yeah,
say you're a survivor, that you've suffered
you're
abuse,
untouchable.
especially you're untouchable. Nobody can question you. And it is
Mhm.
very similar to the trans thing. Like we
Yes.
can't talk about your timeline because now you're triggered. Oh, what about your dates? Can you clarify some of these things? No, I'm triggered. I'm a survivor. And it's like, oof.
Yeah. And at the same
Right.
time, we all have to know kind of as a culture moving forward, it is not our responsibility to protect you from being triggered. It's your
Mhm.
responsibility to figure out how to work through your triggers, how to not be triggered by them. Like
Right.
how narcissistic does a person have to be to think that they can go through life without ever being offended by anything, without ever being triggered by anything? It's a big, big problem we have in our culture.
Don't you want to be the kind of person who leads by example? Like, wouldn't you want other human trafficking survivors to be able to function and live their lives without being constantly triggered and like shutting down in conversation and pushing people away? Like, wouldn't she want others to see, like, no, you can answer questions, you can heal from this, you can, uh,
The only way to heal through it is to go through it. You got to
yeah,
push through it. If it did indeed happen to her, the way to do it is to push through it. That's it. There's
yeah. I
no
hate to say
trick.
suck it up, but like we all fucking have trauma. We all have things that happen to us that we have to
A lot of
get
times
through.
your trauma's the what like a trauma or a horror that you went through is something that propels you to become something bigger. But in order to do that, you have to push through that horror because there's something bigger inside of you that you might not even know is there. It's some kind of code that you haven't unlocked yet that you can unlock with yourself after dealing with a trigger.
Right. And hard times are supposed to like build you up and strengthen you. You're not supposed to use your hard times as a shield from criticism or from
Exactly.
questioning.
Exactly.
Love you guys. Thank you for the chats. Thank you for the comments. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Bye. All right. Love you guys. God, I don't even want to leave. This candle smells so good. I don't want to leave. All right. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye. Love you all. Join the Discord. Feet. Love you all. Wow. You guys are awesome. Come and get it! Bye, guys.
Bye.
Now I'm really leaving. Love you. Bye.